At the entrance, Dad seized my arm, his tone sharp, his voice low. "What are you doing here, Brooke? This is Tyler's day. You weren't invited." My hand trembled as I pulled out my printed invitation. His gaze fell to the signature at the bottom, and I watched the color drain from his face. "My name is Brooke. I'm 29 years old, and for most of my life, I've been the daughter my father wished he could forget. I work as a corporate event planner. It's a good job, steady pay, solid reputation, and clients who respect the work I do. But growing up, none of that would have mattered to my family. They were too busy investing every ounce of attention into my younger brother, Tyler, his college tuition, car payments, and the seed money for that failed startup. Meanwhile, at 15, I worked part-time, saving enough to pay my own way through community college. Tyler was always the golden child, the praised one, the charismatic and successful son meant to carry our family name and make them proud. I wasn't loud or flashy. I simply learned to survive on my own terms. What they never realized was that invisibility gave me power, freedom to create connections they'd never imagine, freedom to earn respect in circles they'd never step into, and freedom to plan the kind of event that would change everything. Because while they were busy forgetting I existed, I was quietly building something they couldn't see, and that something was about to walk through the door with me. If you've ever been the child your parents forgot to brag about, hit that subscribe button right now. I want to hear your story in the comments. Tell me how you rose despite being overlooked, despite being pushed aside. Click hype if you're done being underestimated. Let's go. 3 months before Tyler's wedding, Mom called. Her voice had that carefully rehearsed tone she used whenever she was about to disappoint me. "We're keeping it intimate, honey, just close family and Tyler's important friends." I asked if I was invited. The pause that followed was long enough for me to already know the answer. "Well, space is limited, honey." Before I could respond, Tyler got on the line. "Look, Brooke, this is about celebrating me and Jessica. You just make things awkward." I didn't understand. "What do you mean?" I asked. He laughed, actually laughed. "Come on, you're not exactly someone we want to show off." Mom's voice softened, like that would somehow make it better. "You understand, don't you? It's expensive per head." I reminded them I was an event planner. I could help. I'd managed weddings twice the size of theirs. Tyler scoffed. "Yeah, planning office parties. This is a real wedding, Brooke." Then Dad's voice cut through the line. "Brooke, stop making this difficult. It's not about you." I hung up. My hands shook so violently that I had to set the phone down. 2 weeks later, I saw their intimate wedding details plastered across Facebook. 200 guests, cousins I hadn't seen in years, Dad's golf buddies, Mom's entire book club, even estranged Aunt Monica, who no one had spoken to in 5 years. But not me, not his own daughter. That night, I called Dad. From the first word, he was defensive. "You're being dramatic. We thought you'd be fine with it." "Fine with it," I said. "You invited 200 people, but not your daughter." He sighed. "Tyler wanted people who've supported his journey. You've been distant, Brooke. Distant." I'd been distant because they'd pushed me away my whole life. The final insult came a week later when I ran into Robert, an old family friend, at the grocery store. He was smiling, animated. "Can't wait for Tyler's wedding. The venue looks incredible in the photos." I forced a polite smile. Then his face shifted. "Wet, you're going right." When I shook my head, his expression fell. "I'm so sorry, Brooke." The pity in his eyes burned worse than the exclusion itself. That night, sitting alone in my apartment, I made a choice. They wanted to erase me, but I was going to that wedding, and I was bringing guests they'd never forget. I began reaching out to contacts from my event planning career, high-profile clients I'd worked with over the years, people I'd helped, people who'd once said, "Call if you ever need anything." One was Senator Patricia Hayes. I'd planned her daughter's wedding last year, and we'd stayed in touch. Another was David Chin, a tech entrepreneur whose company launch party I'd turned into an unforgettable success. The third was Amanda Wright, a journalist who'd covered one of my charity events and become a close friend. I told them the truth. "No They were appalled. Patricia's voice was sharp. "Your own father excluded you. That's unconscionable." I hadn't asked them to attend. I'd merely mentioned that the wedding was happening. David didn't hesitate. "Send me the details. I'd be honored to go as your guest." Amanda agreed immediately. And so did Patricia. Meanwhile, Tyler kept posting about his perfect wedding plans. One caption read, "Surrounded by everyone who matters. Blessed beyond measure." The comments poured in, full of praise. Aunt Monica even wrote, "Such a beautiful family. Tyler, you're everything your parents dreamed of." I took screenshots of every single one. 2 weeks before the wedding, Mom called again. We need a favor. The wedding planner quit last minute. Can you recommend someone? The audacity left me speechless. Brooke, are you there? She asked. I found my voice. You want my professional help for the wedding I'm not invited to. Her tone turned irritated. Don't be petty. This is your brother's special day. I hung up an hour later. Dad texted. Your mother is crying because of you. Why do you always have to create drama? I didn't reply. Then Tyler called, his tone sharp with anger. You're really going to sabotage my wedding because you're jealous? I stayed calm. I didn't sabotage anything. You never invited me. Whatever, Brooke. Stay bitter. We don't need you anyway. A week before the wedding, something unexpected arrived in the mail, an official invitation. Beautifully printed and addressed to me. My heart stopped. It wasn't from my parents. It was from Jessica's parents. Inside was a handwritten note from Jessica's mother, Linda. We're horrified by how you've been treated. You belong here. Please, come, we insist. That evening, Jessica called. Her voice trembled. Brooke, I had no idea they excluded you until Mom told me. I'm so sorry. She sounded sincere, almost in tears. Tyler told me you were traveling for work and couldn't make it. My throat tightened. He lied to you. I know, she said, and I'm furious. Please, Kumai, want you there. I thanked her and accepted. Then I made 3 more calls to Patricia, to David, and to Amanda. I have an invitation now. I told each of them. Are you still available? All 3 confirmed instantly. Game on. What my family never realized was that being invisible had given me something money couldn't buy: real influence. While Tyler was posting selfies and living off Dad's support, I was building a network that mattered not because of their last names or bank accounts, but because of the work I did and the respect I earned. Every event I organized linked me to people of substance. Every charity gala introduced me to someone who valued integrity over image. Senator Hayes once told me, Brooke, you have a gift: you make people feel seen. The irony wasn't lost on me. My own family never saw me at all. David Chin had said something similar after his launch event. You're the most competent person I've ever worked with. If you ever need anything, I'm there. I never thought I'd need those words for this, but as each of them stood beside me in support, I realized something powerful. My family measured worth by noise, by attention, by how loudly you could demand to be seen. I judged success by what you managed to build when no one was looking, and soon they were going to understand that difference for themselves. The wedding was no longer just Tyler's big moment. It had become the day my family would finally witness who I had grown into and what they'd lost when they chose to cast me out. I hadn't come to ruin anything or to seek revenge. I came to reclaim my place with witnesses who couldn't look away. 3 days before the ceremony, my old childhood friend Melissa reached out. She was Tyler's age, one of the few who had shown me kindness when others pretended I didn't exist. Brooke, I heard what happened, she said softly. I'm so sorry. She explained that she'd been chosen as one of Jessica's bridesmaids and confessed how disgusted she felt seeing how my family was acting. Your dad keeps saying the wedding's private and intimate, she told me, yet he invited half the country club. Melissa offered to help in any way possible. I told her that just knowing someone saw the truth meant more than she realized. She promised to keep me updated, sending details about the seating chart and the schedule. The night before the wedding, a photo popped up on my phone. It was the layout of the reception. My parents were seated at the head table, Jessica's family just beside them near the front. And then I saw my name placed at a tiny, dimly lit table shoved into the back corner beside the kitchen door. Moments later, Melissa texted, "This is where they put you, table 24. Next to the kitchen. Even Jessica's personal invitation hadn't shielded me from their pettiness. I typed back quickly, perfect. Don't tell anyone I'm changing my RSVP from 1 to 4. She sent a shocked emoji, followed by, oh my god, who are you bringing? I smiled at the screen. You'll see, I wrote. The morning of the wedding, Dad posted on Facebook, today we celebrate Tyler and Jessica. Proud doesn't even begin to cover it. Comments flooded in congratulations, prayers, well-wish. Tyler shared it with his own caption, couldn't have asked for better parents. They gave me everything. I screenshotted it for later. While dressing carefully for the day, my phone lit up with messages. Patricia wrote, this is going to be interesting. David added, wouldn't miss it for the world. Amanda chimed in, I brought my camera, just in case this story deserves documenting. Looking in the mirror, I smiled. I wasn't the forgotten daughter anymore. Today, I was Brooke, successful, respected, and surrounded by people who had chosen to stand with me. Let the show begin. I arrived exactly on time. Patricia walked on one side, David on the other, Amanda just behind. We entered together, their presence wrapping around me like armor. The event coordinator at the entrance froze when she saw Patricia. Senator Hayes, we didn't have you on the list. Patricia smiled gracefully. I'm here with Brooke. She's family, isn't she? We were ushered in immediately. Inside, the space buzzed with conversation and laughter until we stepped in. Heads turned. Whispers swept the crowd like ripples on a pond. Is that Senator Hayes? Someone gasped. Another voice added, and David Chin from Chin Technologies. I caught my father's expression from across the room as the color drained from his face. He hurried toward me, a forced smile hiding panic. Brooke, you made it. What a surprise. His eyes darted between my guests, calculating. And you brought friends. Patricia extended a poised hand. Senator Patricia Hayes. You must be Brooke's father. She's told me so much about you. Her tone made the word sting. David followed smoothly. David Chin. Brooke organized my company's launch event last year. She's the best in the business. Amanda was last. Composed and professional. Amanda Wright. Metro Journal. I cover human interest stories. This wedding certainly feels intimate. Dad stumbled for words. Yes, well, we wanted only close family. Patricia interrupted, smiling thinly. Funny Brooke mentioned she almost wasn't invited to her own brother's wedding. The crowd hushed instantly. Dad flushed crimson. There was a misunderstanding. Was there? Amanda asked evenly, pulling out her phone. Because I've seen screenshots of your son's post saying he's surrounded by everyone who matters. Mom appeared, horrified. Robert, what's going on? Tyler rushed over, his voice raised. Brooke, what are you doing? I met his eyes calmly. I'm attending my brother's wedding with my guests, just like everyone else. Jessica appeared then, taking my hand firmly. I'm glad you're here, she said to all of us. Turning to Tyler, her tone hardened. We need to talk. Now. Tyler tried to recover. Senator Hayes, Mr. Chin, it's an honor to have you here. Patricia's response was cool and sharp. The honor is being here for Brooke. Family should never be treated as an afterthought. As the ceremony coordinator called for guests to be seated, Dad made one last attempt. Brooke, maybe your friends would be more comfortable elsewhere. David's voice cut through, steady and final. We'll sit with Brooke wherever she's seated. Suddenly, table 24, the one by the kitchen door, became the most significant table in the room. The ceremony went on. But nothing felt the same. People kept glancing our way, whispering, reassessing. Throughout the reception, powerful guests approached to meet Patricia, David, and Amanda, curious about our connection. Through Brooke, Patricia said warmly each time, she's exceptional at what she does. From where I sat, I could see my family at the head table, their smiles strained and brittle. When the best man toasted family support, the irony wasn't lost on anyone paying attention. Later, as dancing began, Jessica came to me. She bent down and hugged me tightly. Thank you for coming, she whispered. You're better than all of them. As the night ended and I gathered my things, Dad tried once more to speak. I turned to him evenly. I came because Jessica invited me. You remember that? Without waiting for a reply, I walked out. Sitting in my car, my phone buzzed with a message from Melissa. That was legendary. Your dad's been apologizing all night about the seating mistake. I smiled, set my phone down, and started the engine. I hadn't come to destroy Tyler's wedding or to steal the spotlight. I came to prove I exist, and I did. Mission accomplished. Have you ever been excluded or uninvited from something that should have included you? Share your story in the comments. I want to hear how you endured and how you rose above it. Subscribe to join a community that refuses to be left out or forgotten. Your story matters just as much as mine. Click hype to help this reach others who've been pushed aside by those who should have protected them. Standing up for yourself is never easiest, especially against family. If you've been there, join us. Let me know where you're watching from. I love seeing how far these stories travel and connecting with each of you. Your support means everything. T